and welcome back. So, you've probably seen that I've posted a concept project of a Patagonia jacket, and today I'm gonna show you how I made the rope simulations. So it's gonna be so fun using the new R26 rope dynamics, and it's also gonna be with procedural meshing. So that's quite nice. So if you're ready, then I'm ready. So let's just jump into cinema. Alright, so let's make some nice looking dynamic ropes. So first of all, we're gonna go to our front view. And then we're gonna select our spline pin. Let's make 2 points like this. And let's select all of the points. Let's press T and scale them down to 0. The reason why we do this is so everything is in the center, so we don't have any skewed splines. All right, so now that we have that, we select all of our points again. We press US to subdivide, and then we just press it a few times to get a subdivided spline like this. Then you can go and make a null, call it rope. Make 2 more nulls, call them belt 01, call it belt 02. Then we can put everything inside of our rope null. So let me just move it up here. Now we're gonna make some simulation tags. We're gonna go to simulation tags, rope, and then we're gonna make simulation tags, rope belt. And the rope belt we're gonna duplicate, and we're gonna rename them to the same exact thing as this one over here. So let's select one of the rope belts. Let's call it 01. Let's call this 02. All right. Let me just switch to the tag again. So now we need to place these rope nulls. So I'll just place them at either end of our spline like this. And then we need to select our spline. We need to select the first point on our spline. And then we need to go to belt 01. So as you can see down here, if I select belt 1, that's the spline, or that's the null we have down here at the bottom. So we need to connect it to this point. The way we do that is we go into rope belt. We put belt 01 into the object tab right here. Then we go to our spline, select the last point as we did here. We go back, press set. And now you can see we have a yellow line. That means it's connected. So now we do the exact same thing up here, just with the other spline. Let's select rope belt 02. Let's select belt 02, put it in here, select this point which is closest to the null, and then you press set. All right. So as you can see, it worked. Cool. So now we can actually go out to 3D view again, and we have our setup. But we need to animate first. So we need to select one of the nulls. Then we go to coordinates, and we will animate the C position. So set a keyframe at 0, and then go to frame 30. Set the keyframe at 200 centimeters in the C direction. Let's do the exact same for belt 02. Let's press keyframe. Let's go to frame 30, 200 centimeters, and keyframe again. So as you can see, we have some nice spline dynamics going on here. And now we just need to duplicate it a bunch. I'm just gonna go back to frame 0, And then I'm gonna take this rope null, I'm gonna duplicate it, and remember, we are moving in the C plus direction. So that's always good to keep in mind when you're lining up these splines. So as you can see now, we get this interaction between them. But they are kind of staying together and then snapping over, then overshooting. So how do you fix that? Well, you actually go into the spline dynamics here, or the rope dynamics, and then you set the radius to 2. And right when I did that, you can see it works. And that's really important step to do. So the next step we need to do is just make it a little bit more nice to look at, because they're shaking too much right now. And if I went in here to grab a still of them, it's gonna be too chaotic to look at, even in slow motion. So how do you make it more smooth? Well, we go to our project settings by pressing Ctrl D, then we go to the simulation tab, and then we take down the sub steps to 5. It might seem a bit counterintuitive, but it's the best way. So we can also take the iterations to 10, and this will make it a lot more smooth. And as you can see, it's really a big difference. They're moving so much nicer now, and we don't get that really ugly jitter. So I'm quickly just gonna set up a little scene, and then I'll come back and show you guys what I've done. Alright, so I've just found some really nice placements for these splines, and it's looking really nice and dynamic. So now that we have this nice animation, we actually need to mesh it so we can render it. And the way we do that is not by using a sweep, because you have to place the sweep inside of each of these nulls, and it gets really big and really complicated really quickly. So I found another technique, and it's so much more easy to control the thickness, because you're only using one slider instead of 20 different sliders. So how do we actually make that? Well, you take a extrude, then you place all of your ropes inside of the extrude. Then you go to the object tab, then you set the offset to 0.01, and then you turn on hierarchy. And as you can see, we have some really small extrusions, but they are actually not extruding from the center. They're extruding from one of the sides, and that makes the animation offset. So we don't really want that. So that's why I set it to 0.01, because the next step is gonna save this whole meshing stuff. So we're gonna create a cloth surface, and we're gonna put the extrude inside of the cloth surface. We're gonna set the cloth surface thickness to 0.01 also. And as you can see, probably here, we have this small little square tube that's running through our spline. That's what we want. Then we're gonna go and create a displacer. And this displacer we're gonna put as a second child under our cloth surface. We're gonna go into the shading tab, and then we're gonna make a color. And as you can see, we're already displacing and making thickness on our splines. So the way you control the thickness is you go to the object tab, and then you control the height here. And I'm gonna set mine to 2.8 because I found that was the right thickness for this animation. And it's still a bit rough in the curve where it's actually hitting each other. So the way we fix that is just by making a simple subdivision surface. And as you can see, we have some nice looking geometry. And if we go in and actually look at the geometry, we can see that we have really nice UVs also. So that's really important, because your texture is gonna stick with this method, and with the other methods, they're just gonna slide around, and we don't want that. So it's so nice. So for a quick little last tip, if you wanna add some materials to it, there is a specific way you need to do it. So if I just create 2 materials here, make the one red and make the other one blue. All right. So if we put our material up here in the stack, it's just gonna affect everything the same here and the same here. But if we actually put it on the actual rope null, we can shade all the ropes individually. So that's a really neat trick. All right, so that was pretty easy to make. So now it's your turn to show me what you can do with this technique. So if you post anything on Instagram using this technique, then please tag me, because I'm gonna share it with everybody. And also, if you wanna join my Discord server, I have it in the description, and we share a lot of knowledge and we help out each other. So if you wanna get better at cinema, definitely check out my Discord. Otherwise, follow me on Instagram. And yeah, I think that was all the stuff I needed to plug. So this was just the first video in this little mini series where I show you the techniques and the breakdowns from my Patagonia concept commercial. So definitely stay tuned, because the next video is gonna be dropping soon. And I can spoil a little thing for you. We're gonna use Houdini. So stay tuned. And I think that was it for me. So have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you later.